Alright, so this is a Honda Grom that I bought 7 months ago, and I just haven't done anything with this because I bought this to do an engine swap. I still want to do an engine swap on this, but we're pulling this thing out because I'm tired of looking at it just sitting in my temporary garage, not doing anything with this, so we're finally pulling it out, getting it running, and we're going to drive it with the engine that's already on there. And that'll kind of hopefully get me going about actually doing the engine swap with this. I kind of want to do something that's like not been done before, kind of a unique thing. I've seen people put CBR 1000 engines on these bikes, but I don't want to make it undrivable. I want to make it unique and cool, but yet still drivable, so I don't want to, you know, make this thing ridiculous. I've been having a really hard time trying to find an engine to put into this thing, and I'm tired of just having it sit, so we're finally pulling this thing out and doing something with it. So now the guy I bought this from, he said he put like $2 grand into the engine. He put a big bore kit. I think these things are like stock 125cc, and he put the 190cc big bore kit on here, bigger cam, oil cooler. He put a bunch of other stuff on here. He said this thing now produces like 20 horsepower, but I'm not really sure if that's correct or not because I think I looked up the big bore kit when I bought it, and I think it said it produces up to 15 horsepower. But whatever it is, it's still better than the 8 horsepower stock that these things have. So it's still better than stock. And I do have plans for this engine. I want to either put this in a shifter cart or some kind of like off-road-ish type of shifter cart. So I do have plans for this thing. And again, I still want to do the engine swap, but I'm just tired of having this thing just sit here and not doing anything with it. So we're just going to pull it out and drive it around with this engine. Now, shouldn't be too hard getting it running. This, like I said, this thing has been sitting for 7 months, so we probably need to drain the old gas out. This engine does have an oil leak, so we need to find it and fix it, and then put new oil in here. Probably charge the battery. I'm pretty sure the battery's dead. Other than that, this thing should be good to go. When I bought this, it was running, so it shouldn't be too hard getting it going. That's some old gas. Making a mess. Don't let it match. I need a bigger container. Alright, look at this. This guy, the guy that I bought this from, I think this is the O2 sensor, the air sensor. That's what it looks like. And he just zip tied it just on the outside because he put this air filter on here on the intake because I think he may have had to take the air box off to fit the oil cooler. So I'm going to clip this off. And I'm actually going to drill a small hole into the air filter and just shove this in. I had to do the same thing with the Ninja and it worked fine. I just, is it gonna reach? Gonna reach over there? I think so. Yeah, this air filter doesn't really fit around here, and he just like tightened the crap out of it just to squeeze it on there. Bit janky, but I've had to do similar stuff just to get it to work. And I just take that and then just shove it in the little hole. This thing is filthy. So this right here is where the oil has been dripping out of. And I think it's just a sensor. Maybe it's not just tightened down all the way. Maybe the O-ring has gone bad. I don't know. Yeah, I see just like a little bit of damage on the crush washer right here. If this camera would focus. Let me see if I have a replacement. Alright, so of course I didn't have a replacement for this crush washer, but what I did is I took some sandpaper to it and just filed it down until that bump was gone. Hopefully this will solve the oil leaking issue. This oil doesn't really look that bad, but I just want to change it anyway, because, I don't know. Oh, my truth, it's in neutral. Come on! Doesn't want to idle. I have to hold the throttle. It's running, but I have to hold the throttle, and it doesn't want to idle. Alright, so I found something loose on the intake, possibly causing a fuel or air leak. So, hopefully that fixed it. Maybe not. Something I just realized also, I don't have mirrors for this thing. This thing was running decent when I bought it. I did have to up the idle. Yeah, it's a little dirty. Wish I had a replacement. Come on! Unknown. Not answering that. Alright, now we check the spark plug again and see if it's... Is it dry? Is it wet? That'll tell us. If the spark plug's dry, it's not getting fuel. If the spark plug's wet, it's not getting spark. Spark plug's wet? Is this thing getting spark? It is. I mean, it'll run. I just have to sit here and just hold the throttle. And just keep doing that, otherwise it dies. Let me try and adjust the idle again. Bring it up a little bit more. Okay, there's something. There's something going on with this. There's something going on with this. Because I raise it up just a little bit and then it finally starts, but then it like just revs up really high. If I lower it just a little bit, it just dies. I don't like the sound. I kind of want to take this. I'm gonna take this cover off and check the cam tensioner. Well, I think I found an issue. There was a weird noise. It sounded like the chain, so I took the cover off, and sure enough, that's not good. Oh, that's lovely. So I gotta take the cover off and see what's going on in there. Hopefully nothing's broken. I'm probably gonna lean the bike on the side just so I don't have to drain the oil out that I just put in there. So hopefully nothing's broken. And unfortunately I don't have any gaskets for this because I didn't plan on having to take this thing apart. How hard is that going to be to get off? Well, that doesn't really help. Well, you know what they say, if you don't have the tools you need, all you gotta do is make them. Let's hope this works. I feel like I'm breaking something, but this is ridiculous. Holy crap, this doesn't want to come off. Ah. Oh. My lord, that thing did not want to come off. Holy crap. Holy crap, that thing didn't want to come off. Well, I found the problem. This chain tensioner just isn't pushing down all the way. Now, I've been watching a bunch of videos on Honda Grom chain tensioner, or not, cam tensioner and all this stuff. People replace these and replace these a lot. So I'm not sure if this chain stretched, because look at that. That's, you know, I'm not sure if it stretched, or I don't know if this just weakened over time or this. So I'm not really sure what I should do. I'm trying to get this thing running for Sunday, which is in 2 days. So I kind of just want to jerry rig it just to get it running for now, but yet I don't want to do a horrible job and jerry rig it and break it. I don't know. Now if you take this off, there's a spring in there, and whoops, that's where that went. Just dust all the metal shavings off of it. This floor is filthy. I'm wondering if I can just simply just make this longer. I'm wondering if I should just take this off and just make another one, because I have plastic that I can machine. Make another one that's just longer, and then see if that fixes the problem. It's a little janky. It's a very janky fix. Alright, so it's been about 2 weeks since I worked on this. I'm not really sure how much of the footage I'm going to show. Most of it's just me trying different things and it failing, and it's just still won't run. So I broke down, I bought a new chain tensioner, as well as new spark plugs. Now, I don't even know why I'm fixing this at this point. It's winter, it's freezing cold, I have a heater on, because I'm cold in here, and I don't even know why I'm fixing this thing for winter. But I already started it, and it's supposed to warm up during the weekend, so if I get one ride out of this, then I guess it's worth it. I don't know. Yeah, let's just get it running so I can finish this video. And what am I doing? So I guess let's put the new chain in, let's put the new tensioner in, and hope that solves the problem. If not, I give up. Okay, so first thing I'm noticing when I took it apart for the second time is the key on the shaft. The key is sheared in half. It snapped in half. Here's the rest of it. So I will admit, I maybe was too lazy to look up the torque specs of this nut. I tightened it down as hard as I could, but maybe that wasn't hard enough. And maybe it just sheared the key, and that's why. Maybe that's why it kept backfiring into the intake. So, yep, I'm an idiot. My bad. I'm gonna get a lot of crap for that in the comments, but yeah, this time I'll make sure to look up the torque specs and actually tighten this down all the way this time. Alright, here's the new chain. Moment of truth, let's compare lengths and see if the old one's stretched. Yeah, not really. It doesn't feel like it's stretched at all. It feels like exactly the same length. So replacing this is probably pointless, but I'm already in here, so might as well. This whole project is pointless. I'm gonna have to figure out the timing, so for now let's just put it on and I can adjust it later. Click. Click. Good enough. I don't know how I'm gonna hold this thing. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Alright. That worked. And I'm not replacing the gasket because it's actually in good condition. And I don't have one. So it'll work. Alright, I put it back together. I'm charging it. If this doesn't work, I pretty much give up on this thing. There goes nothing. Come on! It wants to. I'm gonna let it charge for a little bit more, and it's running! For now, at least. Alright, I'm gonna raise the idle up. It's smoking like crazy, but maybe it's just because it's cold out. Wow, it is still idling incredibly high. But at least it's running! I was about to give up on this thing. Oh, it stinks in here. I'm gonna let it air out. There's my carbon monoxide alarm. It's good to know that thing works. I'm gonna let it air out in here. Alright, we finally got this thing to fire up last night. I was ready to admit defeat and give up because I don't really have that much faith in my mechanic skills. And I worked on this thing for like 4 days, couldn't get it. I still don't know what was wrong with it. I checked the chain length with the original one. The chain was fine. I'm not really sure why it seemed like it stretched. I don't think it stretched. It seemed fine. Maybe it was timing. I'm not really sure. I replaced the chain, replaced the tensioner, and then it fires up magically. I don't know. I don't know what was wrong with it, but at least it's fired up, which is a little pointless now because it's not really appropriate weather to be riding motorcycles right now. Today is December 1st, and this is our first snow of the season. So I'm beating myself up a little bit for waiting this long to pull this thing out and work on it. But oh well, when I first pulled this thing out, it was like 2.5 weeks ago, and I was trying to get it running. It was still warmer weather. I knew cold weather was around the corner, so it just took me way too long to get this thing running. But oh well, what are you gonna do? So I guess let's put the body paneling back on. This thing better start again. I think this thing needs a new battery. Keep having to constantly charge the battery. So it's finally starting up, but I guarantee it's not tuned for this freezing cold weather, so it doesn't really want to idle. And then when the motor if I turn up the idle to get it to idle while it's cold, once it warms up, then it revs up to like 7 grand. So this thing could do something. It's not bad. It's definitely not the most powerful thing ever, but it'll still do a burnout. Alright, this thing can do a decent burnout. It's not the most powerful thing ever, but it can do something at least. At least it's finally running. As far as the idling issue, I think it's just cold. Every time I try to raise the idle and then the engine warms up, then it revs to 7 grand. Then I have to bring it down again. So I think I think this thing's like tuned for warmer weather, and it's freezing cold right now. So hopefully that's why it's smoking like crazy. Also, every time I turn this thing over, you can really hear that the electric starter motor really struggles to get this thing to turn over. I'm not really sure if that's the battery or if it's the starter motor, because this thing has a big bore kit. Bigger piston, harder to push, and it's a stock starter motor. I'm not really sure if that's the issue or maybe the battery's bad. I have been charging this this battery is one of those lithium-ion batteries, or the LiPo batteries, and I have been charging it with just a normal battery, lead-acid battery charger. So hopefully you're able to do that, and hopefully I didn't ruin this battery, because this thing does not want to start without the battery charger on it. So now, ever since I pulled this thing out and I've been working on it, I've been now trying to figure out what engine I want to swap this thing with, or what engine I want to swap into this, and I think I finally found the engine I want to swap that, because I want to do something that hasn't been done before. But I want to make it reliable and easy to ride while yet still really powerful and reliable. Everybody's been putting CBR 300s in these. I've seen a couple where people put 450s in them. But the engine that I'm going to try and buy for this thing is a Kawasaki KLR 650 engine. They were made between 1990 and 2007. And so they're really reliable engines. It's really easy to find parts for them, and apparently they're you know, it's a single cylinder 650, so it is a smaller engine, but still has a lot of power. So I think it would be manageable to fit a 650 engine in this. I am going to have to modify a lot of stuff, including the frame, on this, but that's what this channel is about. That's what I do, is heavily modify stuff. So I think I can fit a KLR 650 in this thing and still have it not a death trap. Definitely going to have to lengthen the rear swing arm to make it rideable, but I'm planning on doing that anyway. So now again, it's supposed to warm up next week, and if it does, then I will pull this thing back out and at least take it up my street, make a video showing what this thing can do, just showing riding it, just so I didn't, you know, get this thing running for nothing. So, but it's freezing right now. I want to go inside. So thank you all for watching. I'll see ya in the next video.